It's a top-of-the-table clash between two undefeated teams here in the Softball SA CMAX Premier League, coming to you from magnificent Garnerland and the Adelaide Plains, West Beach in South Australia. Port Adelaide Magpies take on the Sturt Falcons. James Harris here, and alongside me tonight is Pete Williams. Kylie Weatherstone will join us later on. She's just over on the back diamond, checking out the other game that's on tonight, Seacombe Tigers versus Hills Heat. Pete, we're in for a cracker tonight.
Absolutely. I've seen both these teams playing already a fair bit this season. Port Adelaide, just all-round team performances. They're now starting to get their sort of starting nine together and really starting to consolidate on a strong season ahead for them. Sturt, on the other hand, they've been playing around with their pitches a bit, sharing it up a bit, but batting-wise, they've been very strong when they've been in the box.
So these two teams, Port Adelaide Magpies, Sturt Falcons, early doors of the season, Port Adelaide 4-0, Sturt 3-0. Sturt obviously on screen here, going through their infield warm-up. I've noticed for Sturt that they are outscoring their opposition about 4-1, whereas Port Adelaide outscoring their opposition about 5-2. Now, what that tells me is that Port Adelaide are able to score well, but their defence, you know, is bleeding a couple of runs. Is that where Sturt's going to win this game tonight?
I think so. I mean, we know Sturt's a team that makes very few errors when they're in the field and the defence. I think Port, from what I've seen, there's been a few little slip-up errors that aren't, you know, early in the season, trying to rustle out the cobwebs. But if Sturt are one of those teams, very similar to West Torrens and Port Adelaide themselves, that if they get on the offence strong and the opposition make errors, they capitalise on them, and that's where Sturt's probably been making a lot of their runs, I'd imagine.
This is the CMAX Premier League, and we thank CMAX Clinical Research for their support of the Softball SA Premier League. And if you want to help to advance tomorrow's healthcare and get paid for your time, log on to cmax.com.au. Coaches meetings are just about to happen, Pete, but Port Adelaide, some key players, 4 Americans in their lineup tonight. They've got the Cath Coral medalist from last year, Jess Golden. They've got a pitching gem in Liz Engler, a utility at first base in McKenna Smith, and tonight we get our first look at the shortstop, Brianna Marcelino. In my notes, I've butchered that in my notes. That's why I hesitated there. Not to be outdone or outclassed, Sturt Falcons have got the local talent. Maddie Cameron, Sarah Tonkin, couple of young guns, Abby Ware, Abby Kennedy, and of course they're led by the Olympian Belinda White.
Yeah, that's right. Port Adelaide, obviously, as you said, they've got the 4 international stars coming here. The first look that we got at Brianna Marcelino will pick up a spot at shortstop tonight, but we know the likes of what Jess Golden can do off of her last year's performance. We know what McKenna Smith can do up at first, and we know what Liz Engler's been doing in the circle. So very strong from them, but they've also supported by the likes of Charlize Callahan at third base, so and a really strong outfield. So they're going to have a really, really good dip at this as well tonight. Sturt, on the other hand, they've had a lot of youth coming through their ways. They've had a lot of very strong senior structure, which has enabled them to keep such a strong local club here. They haven't got any of their imports in, but they do obviously have people in the team who have played at international competitions, be it in college systems or at international, Olympic or national level. So a lot of experience on the diamond for Sturt. I don't think that'll worry him, but it'll be interesting to see how this Port Adelaide international lineup go tonight.
On screen there, Zali Adams will pitch for the Falcons tonight. She does have some college experience as well, just to add to the impressive lineup. We might go around the diamond. Zali Adams is pitching to Sarah Tonkin, Riley Moore at first, Rachel Tonkin at second, Abby Weir at third, Belinda White at shortstop and outfield left to right, Ashlyn Men's fourth, Maddie Cameron, Abby Kennedy. Talk us through the umpires, Pete.
Yeah, on the plate tonight we've got Pete Fairley, so he'll be doing the calls for us. Up at first we have Damien McCauley, and over at third, hoping for a better time this time out at third base and not getting clobbered by a ball, hopefully, is Ian Gray.
Oh, here he's got a new nickname, Doink.
Doink. Well, it fit well because it went doink, and I tell you what, the strength of the man, he did not move.
First pitch of the night, Port Adelaide versus the Sturt Falcons. Jess Golden leading off for Port Adelaide. Port Adelaide look magnificent, still in their breast cancer awareness round kit, pink socks, and then the black and pink top. Looks sharp, doesn't it?
It's very, very bright out there, quite neon, I like it.
Zali Adams just missing the first 2. Jess Golden ahead of the count. Two-0 count. I think this is one of the best hitting counts, but as a lead-off, I don't expect her to go until she sees one, and she does just that. She holds, she waits, goes 3-0. And, well, we know what happens when Jess Golden gets on base. She's generally stealing first pitch, putting herself in scoring position. And she gets a 4-ball walk to start the game.
Yeah, that's good batting there. 4 balls straight up, so still haven't seen one quite hit the strike zone yet. Very well watched by Jess, and as you said, she's got elite speed around the diamond, so she'll be using that no doubt here.
Plate umpire Pete Fairley in the short sleeve t-shirt, and third base coach for Port Adelaide, Ben Lucas, in the shorts. Don't be fooled, folks. It is -11 out here tonight. A chill in the breeze. So it might make playing conditions tough on these players, I reckon.
It will. That little breeze is going to hold the ball up a little bit in the air, so...
Gemma Letton's hitting for Port Adelaide. She swings and fouls that one off. Jess Golden will have to reset. So she was on the move, so perhaps a hit and run call on that one. And just to prove me wrong, Jess Golden didn't go on the first pitch that time.
No, she was definitely going on the second, though.
Throw just gets away from shortstop Belinda White, and Jess Golden takes 2 bases. She's actually going to take 3. Slides into home, scores on, well, what was a pitch out, really. Zali Adams threw up and out. Sarah Tonkin was up and set. She lets this one go, and White couldn't stop it. Cameron then comes up and throws it on a short hop to Abby Weir at third, and the backup was a little slow coming. Golden slides in to home.
Yeah,
and scores the first run of the game.
Tough one there, chasing the runner of that speed.
Ground ball back to Adams, and she'll play to Moore at first for the first out. So 1 out for the Falcons, but not before Port Adelaide's put a run on the board. Here's the CMAX replay.
Yeah, it was well struck, but unfortunately hit it straight back to the pitcher, who was able to get onto the ball nicely and put the play over. That play before, as I was just saying, person of Jess Golden's speed, you really need to be spot on with your throws. Any opportunity of that slightly missing the person catching it, and the risk is that there's another base. She just has elite speed.
Here's Brianna Marcelino. Yeah, just on Golden, she just adds that offensive pressure, or defensive pressure on the opposition. And we saw it come up on 2 throws just then that just missed the spot. And Sturt Falcons, you rarely see a mistake from them, and on this occasion they've made 2.
We talked about in the pre-game that Sturt don't tend to make a lot of mistakes, as you just said, and that's how they generally capitalise on opposition, so they'll be upset with that.
Change up from Adams, and although it's our first look on Spacequake Sports of Marcelino, she played her first game of the Premier League on the weekend against West Torrens. They had a 5-0 win over West Torrens on Saturday. Hard shot, it's a chopper to the Olympian. She fires it across for the out. Great take from Riley Moore. And Marcelino gets her first taste of who runs this competition.
That was another well-struck one into the ground. It got to Bell very quickly, but it was awkward in that the height, and she had to balance herself for the throw. But that arm of hers was absolutely dynamic straight over to first, and well taken, as you said, by Riley to just get the out in time. As you see
that throw tail across in that light breeze. Here's Jess Maslin. Port Adelaide, of course, have a couple of Cath Coral medalists in their lineup. Here is one of them.
Yeah. Can feel the breeze sort of coming quite from the south at the moment, pushing across, so that would have made that ball move a little bit, but I think also probably the hands did it.
Pulls it hard. Abby Weir at third, fires it across and makes the out. Nice play from the youngster, and Sturt, besides that one slight hiccup, take 3 infield ground balls and make 3 outs.
Yeah, it would have been interesting had the runner just been held up at second, whether they let her go or something like that. I don't know whether you do that early in the game when there's the game's sort of early stages, but when they then decided to chase her and made the errors, gave up the run, it could have been a different result. I mean, neither of those next 2 got out of the infield, so it would have been an interesting result, but Sturt will definitely come back with power in their offensive lineup.
So there you have it. Port Adelaide strike first here in the battle of the top 2 teams, Falcons and Magpies. We'll turn the card over, and if you could tell us the defensive lineup. Thanks, Pete.
No worries. So in the middle, we've got Liz Engler. She's pitching to Jess Golden behind the plate. McKenna Smith up at first. Montana Edwards at second. Charlize Callahan over at third. Brianna Marcelino for the one we're saying we're watching for the first time tonight in shortstop. And Jess Maslin left field, Gemma Letton centre field, and Jess Nevis at right field.
Top 3 hitters for the Falcons tonight: Tonkin, Ware and White. We have a look at results so far. Port Adelaide have played West Torrens twice and won twice, 4-1 and 5-0. Their other games were Hills Heat 4-3 and Glenelg 5-4. So of their 4 games, they've won 2 by a single run.
Yeah, that's right. And, you know, they've played West Torrens, who they played in, obviously, the final last year. They've had probably bigger margins against them than they've had against the teams that didn't make it to the finals last year. And that's probably an exciting thing for me because it's showing the competition coming back a bit more even now. We don't have the sort of teams blowing away at the top. It's quite even across the field, which makes it exciting for the Premier League season ahead.
Port Adelaide just go through their 5 warm-ups, and that throw got away from Jess Gold and the catcher. So maybe these cold conditions are playing a part.
I believe so. I reckon it will. And the other thing, as we've said, they're both very good teams when it comes offensively. They're quick around the diamond, so you really have to be 100% in the field.
Sturt's 3 games so far. 2 of them have been against Seacombe, 8-4 and 11-1. Their other game was against Walkerville, where they won 7-2. So no close games yet for Sturt, but Port Adelaide have won 2 close games. They came from behind against Hills Heat to win. They were 2-3 down going into the last, and Jess Neves hit a walk-off to win 4-3. And then against Glenelg, they just survived a mighty comeback from the Rebels. They were down 5-1 or 5-2 in the last inning, and they had the tying run on third base, Glenelg. Sarah Tonkin has become one of the stars of this league and of this state. 2 national titles, 1 in the under-19s, 1 in the Open Women's.
Yeah, she's a good player. The thing with Sturt, they're a team that can put an innings on really quick. They can get through their lineup. They can all bat through, and that therefore means the defensive pressure has to be spot on. Otherwise, they can put 4 or 5 runs on quick.
Pulls this one foul, and my social media spies tell me that Sarah Tonkin's going to go in a powerlifting competition early next year. So don't try and take her on in a push-up competition.
Yeah, I'd give it a crack, but I reckon it'll be over pretty quick.
ST Fit. Check it out on Instagram.
Yeah, she's another one that's got some good speed around the diamond, and she's very smart thinker. Obviously, as we see a lot, she hits to the left side of the field, but she can get herself around a second pretty quickly, and if she gets an opportunity, she can put the afterburners on and scoot home on a hit to the outfield from second base any time. So a very handy person to have at the top of your lineup.
Fouls this one off. In catchable territory for Charlize Callahan for the first out of the Sturt inning. A cheap out as well. They'll be happy with that, Port Adelaide.
That's a good start for Port Adelaide. First couple of pitches were balls, but then they've come back with a couple, made her swing at a few and got her under one there. The wind didn't take it too far away and was comfortably taken there by Charlize.
Engler fires that one in to Abby Weir.
And watching Liz Engler so far this season, she generally pitches with quite a good strike ratio, which a lot of them, you'll notice, are ones that she's really making the batters think at a lot. They're clipping edges or going ins and outs and really actually making the batter have to think. And with her speed, although it's not, blinding speed, it's a good enough speed that you don't have a lot of chance to actually think. You've got to make a decision quick.
Good 1-2 punch there. A called strike and then a high strike catching a swinging. Probably a setup for a change-up right here. Low and off speed, fouls it off. Good hands from Abby Ware, able to hold it back to get a piece of this one and keep herself alive. One of our junior state representatives, part of the schoolgirls team that won a national championship earlier in the year. Magnificent coaching staff. Kaysler, Harris, Cameron.
Pretty handy, isn't it?
Goes down swinging for Engler's first strikeout of the game.
Yeah, there was just real tussling there. The pitcher, she's obviously pitched the 4 at her, made her swing at one that got foul. The others, 2 swings and 1 looking. That's what I mean by she makes you really look and think, and got to make a decision early with her.
Belinda White will face off against Engler, and Engler has pitched every inning of the Port Adelaide season so far. We first saw her a couple of years ago. She played majority at first base. It's a different role for Engler this year. Timeout called, the baseball comes over. Tonight we're at a Diamond Sports venue, so Baseball Diamond is pretty close by. Adelaide Giants title defence will start later this month. We'll certainly have a couple of crossovers with them in the coming weeks, but you'll still see all the live softball action on Spacequake Sports. 3 p.m. Saturdays, 8 p.m. Wednesdays. The best broadcast of softball in the world won another antenna award over the weekend. Spacequake Sports. Here's Belinda White, pulls this harder. Jeez, it's off the end of the bat, so it spins difficult, and Brianna Marcelino returns the favour from the first inning and throws out Belinda White. Geez, it was a good play, because it was looking like it was going to go in the 5-6 gap, and watch it spin off the first bounce out of reach of Callahan on the CMAX replay.
Yeah, off the bat, I reckon Charlize thought she had that. It was sort of lined straight at her, but that came right out off the toe of the bat. Its first bounce took a 45-degree bounce to the right, which then left it right in the good position for Brianna, and she had to have the same sort of arm that that Bell had when she threw her out, and did so nicely, and it was well played. Yeah,
and a great take from Kenneth Smith over at first base as well. The ball was coming in low. Looked like Marcelino was throwing off the back foot, so didn't have the weight going forward, so had to rely on arm strength alone, and was able to still make it over in the fall, but McKenna Smith really finished off the play.
Yeah, we're really quite spoilt by the quality of the performance we have on the Diamonds throughout our Premier League here, and you're starting to see that already in that first innings tonight with some really good arm throwing speeds.
Top of the second, it's Port Adelaide with the advantage. Montana Edwards to lead off for the Magpies. And Adams tries a curve off the edge of the plate, missing, and Edwards gets to see one early in the count.
I know a week or so ago, Zali had a little niggle, and I'm not sure what the niggle was, but she was getting herself through some fitness tests to play. But definitely seeing her warm up tonight and now, or whatever it was, I think she might be past it.
Change up and a ground ball to Weir to second play tonight, and fires it across for the same result.
Yeah, that was a nice one. Just came slowly off the bat, had enough time to see that Abby Ware. She's really making herself comfortable this season over at third. She's performing quite well, and only young and on the rise, and she's doing quite a good job of it. Charlize Callahan, the opposition's third base, up to bat now.
Fouls this one off.
Zali just looks to be just struggling a little bit to hit her zones at the moment, hit the strike zone, which is giving their likes of Port, who can bat all the way deep through their lineup, the opportunity to sit back and just wait for her to throw it to their spot.
Good battle between these two young stars of the competition. Callahan swinging a miss on that one. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. And that will even it up at 2-2. Really is a very bright, did you call it neon pink?
It's neon pink, I reckon. It's quite bright, stands out. I mean, admittedly on the black background, it's probably easy.
Swinging, great change of pace from Adams. I'm no fashion expert, but I do like it.
James, I think you're underselling yourself there. I've seen you. You are a fashion man. You've got all the stocks in your cupboard, I'm sure. So, pitcher v pitcher now. Liz Engler into the box.
Yeah, 2 outs, and Adams has her first strikeout victim. I reckon it'd be a good feeling to get that first strikeout out of the way as a pitcher, because then you know that you're rolling a little bit, right? They're coming out all right, you're finding your good spots, and you're making the batter work. So
yeah, she's definitely in a position now. She's had the strikeout. She's into her 20-odd pitches. She's put over the plate now. She should be really starting to hit her straps.
Engler behind 0-2, has to chase a low one, and Rachel Tonkin gets across and makes the play. Engler forced out at first, and a 3-up, 3-down inning will be just what Sturt wanted, so they can get back out there and try and at least tie the game up by scoring a run.
Yeah, interesting that first innings of Sturts. You say it was a 3-up, 3-down there for Port, which is not a common thing for them. They've normally got some pretty good strength through their lineup. So it shows the defence of Sturt and their ability, and obviously Zali now starting to find her areas. But wouldn't have had many like the first innings at Sturt this time round, where they had first, second and third batters all go 1, 2, 3. That's very unusual for them. And what it has meant is that they're coming into a nice part of their lineup as well still.
Yeah, Cameron to lead off. Cameron Moore Adams. Having a look at the ladder, Port Adelaide top, Sturt second on points, because Port Adelaide played a 4 games, Sturt just the 3, so 8 and 6. In third place is Glenelg on 5 with 2 wins and a draw. West Torrens 2 wins, 2 losses on 4 points. Seacombe 1 win, 3 losses on 2 points. And Walkerville have 1 draw, 3 losses for 1 point. Hills Heat in 7th place. Only played the 2 games, so it's their 3rd game tonight. They're playing against Seacombe. So we'll get an update from Kylie Weatherstone momentarily.
Led to believe Hills Heat have Grace Rickson here tonight playing for them. She was here earlier. She's out there apparently on the diamond for Hills tonight. So New South Wales state player, Australian representative as well.
Well, that's not the only star of the competition. Well, Australian softball that's... or world softball, I should say, because where I'm going with this is that we've got 2 Swedish internationals playing for Seacombe tonight. So they've got 2 American players and 2 Swedish national team players.
That's correct.
Cameron gets a fair bit of this one. It's up in the zone. It gets over the head of Maslin. A couple of bounces into the dental for school signs, and a leadoff double for the Falcons. And Maddie Cameron hot tonight.
That was an absolute cracking piece. We were talking about what's going on with Seacombe on the back time, but look at that off the CMAX replay. Straight out the guts of the barrel of the bat. It's gone nicely out. A couple of bounces into the dental for school sign. Maddie made her way around to second. They managed to hold her up there, but that's a great lead off when you're a run down.
She's got the new wheels on as well. See the Nikes that she's wearing? They're
very bright out there at second. They're whiter than the base at the moment.
They're glowing in the diamond. Here's Riley Moore. Batting 5 for the Falcons, an important role, because you know that you're going to have runners on ahead of you. If it's not going to be White, it's going to be Cameron. There's the wheels of Maddie Cameron. Fouls this one off, and might be an off-pace pitch as well.
A little bit changed up there, that speed, but we're generally knowing Maddie Cameron is the one that can go out and clear the bases, and she's now in a position where she needs someone to clear her from the base. So relying on this middle of the lineup to do it. If they can get through that and get back to the top for the second, they'll be well on their way to evening the game up.
Just missing the outside edge for Engler. Good eyes from Moore. She's behind in the count. Low for ball 2. I don't know if that close-up of Engler was trying to capture her fingernails, because they match the uniform.
They haven't looked that closely myself, but I've got no doubt they've probably taken the advice from you, James. That fashion advice extended to...
Great pitch and off pace. Engler with her second strikeout leaves Cameron stranded at 2. They've still got 2 more chances here, the Falcons, to move her around. Zali Adams trying to do herself a favour this time in the batter's box. Tries a running bunt, it's popped up, and it lands right in between Callahan and Golden. perhaps if it was not in the middle of the two of them, one of them may have had a chance to lay out and try and take a screamer of a catch in foul territory.
Yeah, I was watching them both going at it, and they didn't really look like they wanted to dive at each other there, so happy for the foul.
Swing and a miss on a high pitch. She'll go behind 0-2. Down and out, a nod from Adams. Probably just missing. Engler, a wry smile.
I think she was a little nervous on that.
Swing and a miss. So back-to-back strikeouts for Engler after giving up a lead-off double to Cameron. Ashland men's fourth, up to bat.
She's come back nicely here, made both the batters work.
Ashland men's fourth, another one of the Sturt players that played in the Schoolgirls National Championship. And in the coming weeks, we're going to have one of their teammates join us in commentary. Don't want to give it away too early, too soon, but a young up-and-coming star of the competition going to join us in commentary for a couple of games this month. So I think you might know.
I have absolutely fully aware who it is. Full of entertainment, quite loud.
And is that right?
But she may go a little shy when there's a microphone in front of her mouth, but we'll work that out of her.
We'll wait and see. Timeout called, so just having a bit of a chat at the moment, Golden and Engler. Two outs, it's a 2-1 count. Eyes for a ball and a nice at bat from this young player. Ashland men's fourth.
They're very patient in there, especially being patient off the back of 2K2s, so she knows what Liz can do in the middle.
And she'll earn herself a base on ball. So a rare walk for Engler.
Yeah, that wouldn't be too many of them that she's thrown down. And as you said, you know, coming off the back of 2 strikeouts, she'll do pretty confident. She's ended up walking 1, but no damage to the score at this stage. And with 2 out, they've just got to get the batter. But Abby Kennedy coming up.
The third of 6 of those players for the Schoolgirls National Champion winning team playing in the Falcons lineup tonight. The other 3 on the bench, Ruby Fitch, Ollie Durham and Claire Warburton. Kennedy playing right field tonight. Pretty quick around the bases. Cameron still at 2. Now she's hustling back to the base. Maybe because Jess Golden has already shown her intent this season to try and pick off runners. She's tried to throw over to 2 a couple of times already this season. Swing and a miss on that change of pace.
Yeah, she's come back nicely here. There obviously wasn't many strikes pitched for 4 or 5 pitches there, but she's made Abby really actually go after a couple. Just been missing them slightly.
That's in there for a called strike. A lead-off double. Maddie Cameron does not move from second base after 2 strikeouts, a walk, and then a 3rd strikeout in the inning to give Engler 4 for the game. Let's have a look at the CMAX replay, and Kennedy wants no piece of that one on the outside edge. Punch out from plate umpire Fairley.
Yeah, it was a lovely piece of pitching there. That's what I was saying. She makes you think a lot in the box. She walked a runner, but she ended up with 3 strikeouts for the innings after letting someone go off with a double off the first batter in the box for the innings. So she came back strongly, a lot of confidence there.
Well, Zali Adams will continue for the Falcons, and thanks to everyone who's watching online. We do like to give a bit of a shout out for those who are watching, and so if you want to tell us where you're watching from or you want to shout out to anyone, let us know, and maybe we'll get to you in the inning break. Mark Podsowit says g'day to Mr. Harris. Don't know who that is. Do you know who that is? Anyway, part of the magnificent Hillbillies Club. Marcellus Analanga is watching as well. He won an Antenna Award for his interview show Mob Talks and nominated in about 4 other categories, that show, and Marcellus alone as the, or let me get it right, Personality of the Year. He got a nomination for, but yeah, good on you, Marcellus.
He's here recently.
Yeah, he called a game for us during Masters. Here's McKenna Smith. Change of pace from Adams. Really good location as well. One that the batter has to have a go at.
Interesting, first couple of games I saw of Sturt, they were really working through their 3 pitchers, Ruby and Olivia, coming into the game, pitching a couple of innings each. But it was generally once they got through the lineup once that they would change the pitcher, was sort of where they were doing it. So we're nearly at that stage here for the game. But she's pitching nicely at the moment. She's now finding her rhythm after the probably being a little bit just slightly out the first innings in a bit, but she's come back nicely.
Well, I did see Fidge warming up in the background. Here's Neves swinging the miss on this one. Zali Adams got McKenna Smith swinging for the first out, her second strikeout of the night. And because they're pitching by committee, their pitching numbers have been down, haven't they, this year? As in down as in the number of innings that they've thrown.
Yeah, they have been. They've really been working them quite nicely. So they've been, you know, early in the season. It's a long season. There's a lot of games. There's national tournaments to be a part of. So giving them enough to keep them sort of ticking over and keeping them regular in the middle, but making sure they look after them through the season, which early in the season, you don't want to go down a pitcher too early. And it's good that they've got the stocks. And as you said, was it 6 players in the team, part of the schoolgirls program? So they've got a huge depth of talent at young ages here at the moment, Sturt.
Neves will go down swinging. And so back-to-back strikeouts for Adams. She struck out 3 of the last 4, but she's got her work cut out for her. And back to the top of the lineup for Port Adelaide, Jess Golden.
Didn't get to swing the bat the first at bat, just watched 4 sizzle over for a walk, so still yet to feel the bat on ball in the game presence tonight.
Well, we get an update very soon. Hills Heat versus Seacombe Tigers on Diamond 2 tonight. That game started at 7:30, so that one has been about an hour into the game. And Kylie Weatherstone's going to join us for the remainder of this one. Welcome, Kylie.
Hello all, how are we?
Yeah, we're okay. It's a little cold here. I can't imagine it being warmer over on Diamond 2.
You can definitely notice a difference coming, just walking over here right now. This is actually quite nice. Over there, freezing.
We'll get an update in a moment. 2 balls, 1 strike on Golden. It's a 1-0 ball game in favour of the Magpies. Golden will foul this one off. Chance for left fielder Mensforth, but the ball keeps tailing away. Kylie, you just joined us, and for anyone else who has just joined us, Jess Golden got on from a walk and then on a pick-off attempt from Sarah Tonkin. The ball went to centre field, so Golden got safe to second, took off for third, and a throw from the centre fielder Maddie Cameron missed the target. So Golden slid into second, got to third, slid into third, then got home and slid into home.
Wow.
For the first run of the game. And since then, it's been a very good defensive duel. We've seen some sharp plays from both infields, and Maddie Cameron, with the only hit of the game so far, crushed a double to the fence, but was left stranded there after she led off the second inning. This one's also got a tail on it, so Mensforth's got a job. She takes a great catch on the line. So 3 up, 3 down for 2 consecutive innings. Make it 9 retired in a row for Port Adelaide, Zali Adams and the Sturt Falcons on the CMAX replay. And if you want to help advance tomorrow's healthcare and get paid for your time, log on to cmax.com.au. There's our review of this game. So Kylie, you're caught up. catch us up on the game over on Diamond 2.
Yes, at the moment, Seacombe Tigers are facing the Hills Heat. Interesting game so far. Seacombe started off batting. Reagan Diaz, the American import, led off with a nice shot up the middle. Sasha came up as second batter and put a very good bunt down and managed to get herself safe at first, while Reagan was still motoring around to third base. Slid in and, dived in and got safe as well.
So that was Sasha Mutsi?
Yes,
Yep.
that's right. And then later on in that innings, it was very interesting. The ball was thrown back to the pitcher, and Reagan was obviously been watching very closely and took her second and actually slid home on the throwback to the pitcher. So Seacombe, that's how Seacombe got their first run. And then after that, Hills came out, and a few errors from the Seacombe field. I think the score at the moment is 4-1. But they're running into the bottom second, so it's been a long innings.
And that's in favour of the Hills Heat?
Yes, definitely. Yeah, at the moment, hitting the ball quite well.
So Pete and I got the early mail that Seacombe may have had a couple more internationals playing in their lineup tonight.
They're actually sitting on the bench at the moment, 2 Sweden girls, Emily and Lara. It's fantastic to have them come over. They came to training last night and still doing very well. I think we'll be very happy to have them.
Running bunt attempt from Rachel Tonkin to start off the bottom of the third inning. So we're further into this game than we are into the game on Diamond 2 that started half an hour earlier.
Yes.
This one is a bit of an arm wrestle at the moment. Sturt with 2 base runners for the game, Port Adelaide with just the 1, probably being the difference. I'm going to touch on the Swedish players in a second. Great pitch from Engler and a change-up. So Seacombe brought over some Swedish players, so internationals, and they've started them on the bench tonight?
They only arrived yesterday, so they haven't even been here probably just over 24 hours.
Yep.
So it was just to came out to training last night, have a bit of a play, a bit of a throw, and just they'll be ready to go on Saturday.
High pitch gets Tonkin chasing. That is strikeout number 5 for Engler.
We're just acclimatising him into softball SA here out on Diamond 2, getting him used to the cooler conditions.
Now, I do know that softball players do travel a little bit, so maybe Seacombe spoiling their Swedish players. I remember a player who made his first trip over to the Netherlands, arrived on a Friday, played in a B-grade game, and then had an A-grade doubleheader the next day. So maybe taking it easy on them, I reckon. Sydney Horton arrived, trained Tuesday night last week, and played for Glenelg the next night. So,
yes.
And hasn't she started off well?
I do believe,
I'm not sure
actually.
she's got out yet.
No, I think you're right. From the game we commentated the other day, she did very well. That's right. I think one of the girls, Lara, has actually did a bit of running on the bases in that first innings there, so she's got out there, but Emily's still yet to have her start. I'm sure it won't be long.
Fouls this one off Sarah Tonkin, and as much as I don't like talking about myself, I don't miss a chance to do it. So there you go.
Now, interesting, I will say, is that the Hills pitcher is from New South Wales, Grace Rickson, that's it.
Yes, Aussie
Yes.
spirit player. Grace Rickson played in the World Cup qualifiers in Ireland earlier in the year. She's come back. She played for Hills Heat in a couple of games last season, and we've seen her play in a few tournaments now. Under 23s and Gilly Shield.
Both here.
Here.
Yes.
Yep.
So she's used to the diamond, so she's out there doing quite well at the moment, throwing with a fair bit of pace.
My understanding, she's not a permanent fixture in the lineup, but she'll be coming back for a few of their double headers and stuff like that through the year, just to help the stocks out and support the Hills.
Yes, that's how I understand it as well.
Oh, off the end of the bat, it screws out towards second base. Edwards comes up and decides on an overarm throw. I'm sure she will want that one back as it hits the side net, and Sarah Tonkin's aboard for the Falcons. Let's have a look at the CMAX replay.
Yeah, I reckon she was there anyway, no matter what. It probably
Needed an underhand throw.
Yeah, it was close enough, but she would have made that base anyway, so hoping they're not throwing too much red onto that one.
Yeah, that's a wild throw. Shows bunt. This is Abby Ware, strikeout victim, her first time up to bat. Might have to check with our 2 live members to our left, colouring the circles tonight. Tula Connolly, who's also a Softball SA Hall of Famer, and Jill Williams, the birthday girl from yesterday. do sit under the Gillian Williams Pavilion. Happy birthday, Jill. Was that red or green on that last play? Green. I get a fist pump from the man next to me.
I hear enough about it at home, how it works. The theory there being that there was no advantage to the runner. She was already going to make it safely, so the throw didn't impact the play.
There's the explanation, and so that is Sturt's second hit of the game. Sarah Tonkin with an infield single. That ball is fouled off.
Got given myself an honorary level 1 scorer last year when I had to do I-score for a couple of games. So sitting next to Lindy and Jewel, I learnt the lessons super quick. It's been removed from me this year, though.
Change of pace comes in a little high from Engler. Kylie, you're the pitching expert of the three of us. She's really got that change up on a string, hasn't she?
It's a great pitch to have in your repertoire, absolutely.
Another ground ball to second base. Edwards takes her time on this one, fires it across to make sure of the out, but Sarah Tonkin moves across safely to second. She's now in scoring position. Here's the CMAX replay. A courtesy runner will come in. Is that Ollie Durham?
Ollie, yes.
Coming in. She is
She
in
has
the
some
state
pace.
under 18s team, and
Yes.
the sprinting expert in South Australia, Kathy Lambert, tells me that she's one of the quickest in the team. So maybe she'll be a graduate of the Lambert sprinting school.
Well, given the record of the person that's in the box at the moment, she puts it in play anywhere. You want that person getting home from second.
Well, she missed out her first turn at bat.
Yeah, hit that little
Screwball off the end of the cue.
It just came really spun. It was heading straight at third base and just took a little right kick off the first bounce, went out to shortstop and basically fell in the hands of Brianna Marcelino, but then throwing an awkward throw off the back foot, nearly made it, but the throw was good enough.
You tell me White's 5 for 7 for the season so far as she pulls this one foul.
Yeah, she's been batting well. I mean, she's the superstar that we've got here in the state, with a lot of talent coming through, and watching her and having the opportunity to see her week to week on our live stream when the Sturt game's been on and through the Nationals. There's a lot of people out here that if they could repeat the performances and the career that Bell's had, they'd be pretty happy.
Fouls this one off. Yeah, she really sets the pace for this competition, doesn't she? And a lot will fall behind. Some try their darndest to keep up with her, but just yet again setting the standard. Announced her international retirement. Not in the Stars team for this summer either. And looking at records just recently, I noticed that this is going to be her first year she hasn't played state softball. Besides the COVID year, of course, she drives it right side. Ollie Durham turns third and will slide in safely to score. Belinda White with an RBI single to the right side. She placed it beautifully. An outside pitch, drove it opposite field, ties up the game.
Yep, as I said, if she gets bat on ball and gets it through, you wanted someone out at second with their leg speed to get there. Bearing in mind, Sarah Tonkin's pretty quick herself, but that speed there was enough there for Olivia Durham to get home and leveled up the score. And we're going to go into the box now. Maddie Cameron, who's put the one out to the fence already tonight. If we see a repeat of that, we know Bell's got some pretty good speed as well. Even though she's retiring from international standards, her performances and her stocks and her abilities have not changed.
Speaking of Bell's state numbers, I was actually lucky enough to be one of her coaches on her very first state trip in under-16s. Richard Coombe and Chappie, the three of us took Bell and very good players that are not playing. I think Bell's about the only one playing anymore now.
So we see another hit there out to the left field, just split the third and shortstop. Maddie Cameron gets her second hit for the night, ends up on first. Bell White advances to second. And going to come up into the box now is going to be Riley Moore. That's some pretty handy coaching for Belle's career back then, and you wonder why we had so much talent coming through at the time.
Absolutely. She was a really good player then too. Oh, here we go.
Back-to-back hits make it 3 in a row for the Falcons. White does not let up the throws to home. Letton's throw's not bad, but White will score from second and Sturt take the lead.
Yeah, that was another lovely hit out there again, and as we said, you know, Sturt's the sort of team that they can quickly put 3 or 4 runs on you. They've got really good depth right through their lineup, and this is what they've done when they've had games where they've blown away by 3 or 4 runs. It's because they've had a 3 or 4 run innings to do it to teams. So that's what they're obviously doing here, and Port's got to be on their best to try and hold this out now.
It's about taking opportunities, isn't it? We've got runners on, you want to score them, so you want to have a really good turn it back, which obviously Riley did then, was a great shot.
Here's Zali Adams trying to keep the ball rolling for the Falcons. They've had 4 hits in this inning. She watches that one go through for a called strike. She'll go behind 0-2. 2 runs to go ahead in the inning, Kylie, and now it's the Falcons with the advantage. Swing and a miss. Engler will get strikeout number 6. She had to labour through that innings with 7 batters.
Yeah, Sturt really got on top of that innings there, hit the ball very well, in good spots here, was able to advance their runners.
Well, joining us is a special guest. We've got Softball Australia Manager of One Management and Participation. I probably butchered your title there, Nick. You're only my line manager, but that's okay. Nick Frayne joining us. G'day, Nick.
Hello, James, and hi, all viewers.
Over in Adelaide, we're doing some strategic work with you, and it was a big day today, but you get the opportunity to see our competition live and in the flesh. Do you get to see much softball back in Victoria?
Oh, I certainly do. Yeah. The production isn't quite to this level. I must admit, it's incredible seeing Spacequake in action, and in particular the female athletes and at the pinnacle of the sport in South Australia in action. Particularly, it's a real pleasure, and the skill's been outstanding so far.
We've got the Home Run Heroes banner being proudly displayed over in the centre right field fence as well, and it's a new program, well, relatively new, about 12 months old now.
Yeah, it is, and it's the entry-level program for softball for new participants to get into the sport, and we're really keen to see that grow, and everything we do now has a participation lens, and we're really keen to grow the base here in South Australia and across the country to see more and more kids enjoy the great sport that is softball.
We just saw the sign briefly, and Home Run Heroes, you can find your nearest club and the nearest Home Run Heroes program as well, just by logging in to that website, and we'll get it back on screen in a second for that website. I should know. What's the website, Nick?
www.homerunheroes.com.au.
Got plenty of notes in front of me. I should have written it down. Here's Gemma Letton fouls this one off, and Nick, the one management model for One Softball States, there's the sign again, homerunheroes.com.au to find your nearest program, and that is entry level, isn't it, from 4 till 12 years of
4
age?
to 12, but particularly for that entry level at 4 to 8, so it's based on the playing for life philosophy and game sense approach to making sport inclusive for all, and softball certainly is that.
And the Adelaide Club competition right here at West Beach got their Home Run Heroes competition up and running last Saturday. So if you're in the local area Saturday morning, they've got the Home Run Heroes program running, and they're running around the state as well. Gemma Letton goes down swinging.
Fantastic initiative, and nothing happens without the fantastic support of our volunteers across Adelaide and all of South Australia, and they really are valued by our sport, and we certainly need to recognise them and for all the work that they do.
This is Brianna Marcelino, an American, Nick. She's out of the University of Connecticut. Played in Europe this year, and he's an absolute superstar from what we've seen and what we've been told so far. Stands over 6 feet tall, very athletic.
And these two teams are both undefeated, correct?
Top of the table clash tonight.
You can certainly tell with the skills on show.
Pulls it hard into the 5-6 hole. Marcelino with Port Adelaide's first hit of the game. It took to the 4th inning. So great defensive game so far from the Falcons.
Yeah, a good piece of the ball there, right in the hole. Bell didn't have a chance on that one. See what they do here.
Maslin gets after this one first pitch. It's high in the air. Someone's got to call it out. Adams does the fielding. Capable pitcher, Kylie. Does the heart get racing when you see a pitcher go for a fly ball?
I was never allowed to catch them. I always got told, get out of there. 3rd and 1st will have them. So, no, it was a good catch. Well
It
done.
is windy out there as well, so it's much tougher than it would have looked, I'm sure.
Swirling around a little bit. Charlie Adams gets under it, takes a good catch. And for those that watch, there's Charlie's reaction. Oh, a hard shot opposite field from Edwards, taken very well from Rachel Tonkin for the 3rd out. So denying Port Adelaide after Marcelino gets a hit. It's been great defensive work from the Falcons tonight. After their very first batter, a couple of wild throws allowed Golden to score. There's the CMAX replay, and if you want to help Advanced Tomorrow's Healthcare and get paid for your time, log on to cmax.com.au. Nick, thanks for coming along and joining us and talking a little bit about Home Run Heroes, our entry-level program. What is the other big news coming out of Softball Australia of late? Is there anything coming up we should be looking out for, or is it just get behind the clubs that support the sport around the state and the country?
Yeah, look, I mean, there's a new strategic plan at the highest level, which will really dictate the work that's done across the country to grow the sport, and across our 4 pillars, which is people, play, perform and promote. So we're really honing in on supporting our volunteers with the 4 levels of the sport being clubs, associations, states and at national level. We really need to be aligned to achieve the growth that we want, and there's an enormous amount of opportunities out there for our sport to really grow, and it's certainly time to take those opportunities. And we're very lucky to have great volunteers, but we're also very lucky to have great people like yourself, James, who lead from the front and show the passion and display the passion that we need to grow the sport and continue on from some really pleasing results recently over the last 2 years.
Yeah, very well said as well. It's a great sport and it's much loved around the country. Ground ball over to first base. McKenna Smith takes it. Ashton Men's 4th is retired, put out to first base for the 1st out.
And if you do look at the recent history of the sport, obviously we're highly successful in the men's program, being current world champions, and then the announcement recently of softball being back in the Olympics for Los Angeles is obviously extremely exciting, and there's a lot of work going in through our pathways and performance area of the sport to make sure we're ready to qualify for the LA Olympics. So certainly still have to qualify, and it's a big job, but it'll be terrific to see the sport back in the spotlight.
There's Abby Kennedy, a fly out to left field. Yeah, huge announcement. It'll be softball's 6th time in the Olympic Games. Australia, of course, been to 5 Olympics, have medalled 4 times. So I can't wait. You know, we've got to get through Paris first next year, of course, where we make way for breaking and ridiculous sports like that. I can say that because I pick the commentators that come on to the live stream. So the ground ball there for Rachel Tonkin is the 3rd out and the retired one. But no, I'm a big Olympic fan, so it's going to be great to see softball return to the games. And yeah, well, hopefully that means a little bit more cash for softball around the country as well, and in the high performance programs. But as we were just talking about earlier, Nick, it is about grassroots. It's about growing grassroots, you know, recruiting and retaining players, and also giving clubs the capacity and the resources to be sustainable going into the future. So softball's in great hands, I reckon. The strategic plan should give us a big bolster of numbers around the country, I reckon. So I really want to thank you and the team at Softball Australia, and thanks for coming to Adelaide and helping out the office.
No, pleasure, James. It was a great day with yourself and Catherine and Peter today. Got a great deal out of it, and we're certainly in good hands.
Amazing. There you go. That's Nick Frayne from the National Office joining us as a special guest. We'll get Pete back on, but Kylie, Pete just gave me a sneak peek at the game over on Diamond 2.
Not sure I want to see this.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure if you do either 10 to 1 in favour of the Hills Heat. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. As Nick departs, he didn't bring his big coat, so he didn't get the memo that it gets really cold down here at West Beach. So he did well to get through that one. So only the big names are the guests here. We've had Sarah Lowen, now we've had the number 2 at Softball Australia join us as well. So
sorry to break the news to you, but great for supporters of Hills, and seeing Grace Rickson come over here. She's hit a home run out the back there apparently tonight as well. So she's had 2 at bats for a couple of whacks, and she's pitching like a demon. So handy investment, that one.
Absolutely.
Ground ball from Callahan, and Abby Weir just fumbles a little bit. Her momentum still going towards first base. She couldn't get a handle on it. That one's a red pen.
That's a red pen, sure. That one just crept up on the glove there and got her up on the wrist, bounced around, and she's still moving and just played around on her. That was all, that one.
Yeah, couldn't get a handle on it there. So Port Adelaide lead off on Engler, goes first pitch. Tonkin does well, gets it moving. A double play from the Falcons. They're sharp in the field tonight. Bar that one hiccup, I'll say it again because it doesn't happen very often. Let's have a look at the CMAX replay, and we'll see Rachel Tonkin field it well, get in a good position, throws it across to White, and she completes the double play over to Riley Moore.
It's a pretty well drilled team, isn't it? They knew exactly what they were doing the second the ball got to them, and the speed of the arms there.
Well, Tonkin just fielded that, and the way she pivoted across her feet, it was really good positioning to make sure that throw was up there enough for Bell to be able to make the throw to first to get the double. Obviously practiced that a lot, I would say.
Yeah, that's
training.
That's this team, the Sturt team. They're fairly strong every year because of the fact that they stick together in this, and they can manage to get these drills down pat. They know exactly what each other are doing and where they're moving. So big help that.
McKenna Smith back up to bat. And that double play, 4-6-3 for those scoring at home, has really swung the momentum in favour of the Falcons. You think now that they've got a 2-1 run lead. We're about 55 minutes into the game. So still plenty of ball to go if you're a Magpies fan. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Fidge has still been warming up for the Falcons. A check swing, but hands break, and that'll be another strikeout for Zali Adams. Count them out. She's got 5 for the night.
Yeah, she's come good. Early on, as I said, she was just missing those sort of spots early on, but she's found a rhythm now nicely. She got through that sort of 20 barrier of pitches for the game. She threw down a couple of strikeouts. Momentum's just carried her then. She's got a good defence that we've seen just in that innings alone that are going to back her up on the diamond. So. And her batters, when they're batting, makes it easier for the pitcher.
Kylie, on a cold night for a pitcher, you see Zali go into the rosin bag after every pitch. She does that on a hot day. So on a cold day, what are you doing to keep the hands and the fingers warm?
Especially on the bench, they're right like mine are right now in my jumper because it's freezing here. Yeah, anything you can basically, you know, rubbing the hands together, keep them in the glove, anything you can think of to keep them warm. You want your whole body. Put the jacket on over the shoulder. It's a minimum. I'd be putting it completely on when I'm sitting on the bench.
couple of Antenna Award winners are watching on the live stream, David Muggleton and Marcellus Enalunga. Congratulations to you guys on your success over the weekend. Isadora Roberts watching from Darwin. We can see that Craig Robinson's watching from Mount Gambier. So north and south always have fans watching from Berry. Jealous, they're watching with the heater on. Someone's watching from the Sunshine Coast as well. Sunraysia and Alex Pallett, the new president over at Sunraysia. Bunt, running bunt attempt. Callahan fields it, but Tonkin beats that out. Make it a second infield single for the game.
Yep, again there, I reckon this will be a greener. She's got the speed on her to get up to that first base before the throw gets there anyway, so.
What made it tough here for Callahan is that she had to turn her body to make the throw. Yeah, she gets into a good position, and just the speed of Tonkin able to leg it out.
Interesting seeing on the replay there too. Sarah Tonkin looked like she actually slipped coming out of the batter's box, and she still made that ground up. Another bunt here. Callahan this time gets the throw over to first. Not before advancing the runner to second, so they've got the runner in scoring position with one out, Sturt, and into a pretty handy part of their lineup.
Abby Weir putting that bunt down. Was a good bunt there.
There it is on the CMAX replay. Handy part of the lineup, you reckon, Pete?
Goes all right.
Bell White, Maddie Cameron, both have hits. Maddie with 2. White an RBI single. Her hit came with a shot to the right side. Tonkin still on second base. I say still because there's only one out. Don't have a catch or speed up just yet. White smashes it up the middle. Letton's got a good arm, but Tonkin's quick. Play at the plate, just offline, allows Tonkin to slide in home safely for the third run of the game. Belinda White's second RBI, and if that throw was on the money, we would have had a tight play at the plate. Let's have a look at the CMAX replay.
The throw was absolutely gun. It just faded with the wind a bit and took her up the third base line, a little bit off target there, which managed to get the runner there in Sarah Tonkin around behind the tag. And she's got good speed, as we saw, getting herself up to first, and that was always coming home with Bell White advancing herself through.
Cameron goes aggressively after the first one, a little high and out of the zone. I reckon her double in the second inning was up on the letters as well. But if I can go back one play, here's Sarah Tonkin sliding in safely, and then the tag missing, was that Belinda White got to second on the throw to home as well. So, gee, she makes you pay, doesn't she, with her base running. Cameron just holds back a little bit and finds the gap. Marcelino decides not to make a play at first. It would have been epic, but she decides to hold that runner at 2 instead. Let's have a look at the CMAX replay for Cameron's third hit of the game. Yeah,
right decision there. If she was to make that ball to first, there's a good chance Bell was going to be heading to 3. Now we've got a forced situation.
Runners 1 and 2 for Riley Moore. She has an RBI against her name.
And I suppose that's also the importance of the runner on second there, with obviously the knowledge of Bell White. Going far enough down the line that you know you can get back, but making that actual fielder have to really hold you and think that I can't make the throw, because if I do, she's going.
Moore. Well, this will be an easy play for Callahan to roll a double, but the throw's just a little wild for Kenna Smith. Cameron's going to take on the arm. She turns third, looked like she was going to go for home. So force out the third. So put out for Callahan in the fielder's choice. She steps on the base, throws it across. It's just a little offline for Smith. So it'll be a wild throw for Riley Moore. We've got 2 runners aboard. Cameron at third, Moore at first. Timeout has been called, and it does look like Ruby Fidge coming in for Zali Adams in the batting lineup.
Yeah, this is the time that we know they make their changes. They work through their pitches through a game, and I can, you know, we're sitting with Zali having thrown about 56 pitches for the game. She's seen through four innings herself, so 5 innings, sorry, herself. So she's at a period where it's probably time to come off and let Fidge come on and finish it off.
Kylie, we were talking earlier that they're pitching by committee this year. Sturt Falcons, Fidge watches the first one through. The 1-3 split, Moore stays put at first. They've got Ollie Durham, they've got Ruby Fidge, and they've got Zali Adams. So all very impressive young pitchers for the Falcons and for South Australia. And probably, you know, a couple of years difference between each of the pitchers as well. Zali, the senior of the three, she's had a couple of years at college. She returns. Ruby Fidge just finishing school this year. Is that right? She's out of under 18 age group now,
that's
and
right.
but named to go to the World Cup qualifier in American Samoa. End of the week. When do they leave?
Yeah, I heard tomorrow. I think
There you go.
very, very soon. Tomorrow, in this couple of days at least.
How many we got going to that?
I believe Abby Bastion from Hills, Abby Weir from Sturt, Ruby, Reggie's obviously coaching, and I think Karen's actually heading off as well. So a very good contingent from South Australia, which is fantastic to see.
It's in there for a call strike, and then Jared Farrell, one of South Australia's finest men's players, will head across to American Samoa the week after, and will play in the Men's World Cup qualifier. Great shot from Fidge. It goes hard to the opposite field. Neves gets under it, tips the glove. She has to turn around to field it. The run scores from 3, Maddie Cameron. So RBI for Ruby Fidge, comes straight into the game and makes an impact.
That was a nice hit. Came off really sweet off the bat. Sounded nicely. It just carried. I think running in there out at right field, she sort of got in under it a little bit, and just at the last minute had to make an adjustment, had to jump for it, and it just clipped the top of the glove. Luckily for her, it was falling dead anyway, so she was able to just pick it up and hold the remaining runners up.
So a couple of mistakes, a little costly for Port Adelaide. And Sturt go to a 4-1 lead after a great hitting display. Sarah Tonkin, 2 hits. Belinda White, 2 hits. Maddie Cameron, 3 hits. Riley Moore, a hit. And the top half of the lineup doing the damage. As Mensforth has a swing and a miss at that one.
It's hard when they keep coming at you like that, isn't it? You know, 2 hits, 3 hits.
Well, you can't let up. And this very impressive Port Adelaide lineup just allowing the Falcons to get on top a little bit. So a chink in the armour of the undefeated Magpies. Giving up 4 runs and strikeout looking for Mensforth. We'll retire the 5th inning, so we still have about 25 to 30 minutes left in this game, so plenty of time for Port Adelaide to get through. Only thing is, we're into the top of the 6th, so probably see all 7 played tonight, so they've got to get a move on. From what we've seen in the results so far, any team that scores 4 generally wins a game. There's only been 2 teams to score 4 or more in a losing side. Make that 3, and Seacombe did it against West Torrens on the weekend. 8-5 they went down.
Well, I think prior to tonight, there's only been one game where a team's got double figures. Now another team in Hills have done it out on the back diamond. But the close games, I mean, and this is what I like to see. The league is actually tightening up, and it's, you know, you can't rock up to a game and think a team's going to just walk over anyone else. They're competitive games out there. A lot of these teams, as you said, over the next couple of weeks are going to be missing a player or 2, which is then going to give some other people opportunities. Going through that list of people you said that are going away to these World Cup opportunities and qualifier opportunities and that, I tell you what, as a South Australian, I'm pretty happy, because if they're getting involved in these things now, if you look towards 5 years' time and then 9 years' time with 2 Olympics coming up, they're the people that are going to be putting their face up into the lights of the selectors for those Olympic squads. And you know, we've had a very, very lucky position where we've had Belle White going away, and we've now got some other South Australian players getting into the Australian team. But it just shows that we've got continuing depth coming through the ranks, and we've obviously got some good programs in place that I'm sure you spoke about before when I wasn't on air. But if we can continue developing these people, the South Australian softball landscape is going to look pretty healthy in the years to come.
Absolutely, I totally agree. You know, we've got someone like Belle leading the way, Olympian. That's what all these little kids, under 12s, under 14s, looking at her and thinking, "Wow, I want to be like Belle."
Yeah.
And they can.
The exciting thing here for Port, if they're going to start a resurgence in this game, it's going to have to start now because they're about to, they've got Jess Nevis in the box now, and then they're going to flip back to the top of their lineup.
You were talking about Sturt's committee of pitches. It's very hard coming into a game, and even if you're in front like Sturt are at the moment. So Ruby's got to settle down here.
And I'd imagine it makes it harder on a cooler night like this where it's late in the day, you know, you've had a busy day, you've been doing whatever you've been doing through the day. We don't have the ability to sit there and, have your afternoon nap and rest and recover and get all that stuff going. You've got to do whatever it is you've got to do through the day, then you turn up to a game, you wait till 9 o'clock at night to take the dime and you team up, which is an easier way to come in, I guess, than being down, but you've got the pressure on you to maintain that against what's about to be the top of their lineup again.
She's had a lot of time on the bench, obviously, to think about coming in. She's warmed up a few times, I would say, during the game. But the fact that she has got, 4 runs behind her should give her some confidence to be able to throw the ball. She walked Neves just then.
Yeah. Neves with the lead-off walk. We'll see Golden come to the plate.
She's got a challenge now.
Well, she was obviously walked the first at bat, didn't have a swing at all, just got to see the ball, 4 balls go over the plate, got herself up to first. Second one, she had those couple of fouls as well out to deep left that just sort of faded off with the wind before putting one in play, but a nice hold by Mensforth out there at left field. So she's still waiting to get herself on base by her own accord tonight.
Kylie, pitching by committee, well, I reckon people around the competition would have thought it was unfair that you got to pitch alongside the likes of Tony Lomond.
Yes, there was a unique situation that happened there. I was playing for...
Great shot, a hard hit past the diving glove of White. Throw comes in and nothing doing. We'll see Neves to 2, Golden to first, and a hard hit shot out to left field.
That was a cracking piece there. Faded. Belle White did an amazing job to get the coverage she did, but it just was going past her at a rocketing speed, and the runners have held up at 1 and 2.
Should have known better than to start a story with Jess Golden in the box. Here's Gemma Letton. Running bunt, first pitch. Fidge does the fielding, fires it across to Tonkin for the first out. 2 runners in scoring position for American import Marcelino. CMAX replay.
It was a good punch. She did exactly what her job was there, to get these 2 into scoring position. She was never going to beat the throw, but she's done exactly what she needed to get those 2 around to second and third.
Well, the Magpies will have high hopes for their squad of Americans, and they'll be wanting her to cash in here with 2 runners in scoring position, trailing the Falcons by 3. Ground ball to White. She'll hold Neves at third, firing it across for the second out. Runners stay put.
Yes.
Next replay, that's the second time she's gone to shortstop tonight. First one was a high chopper to the backhand of Belinda White. She fired it across and made the out. There were no runners on that time. She makes it look easy, doesn't she?
Yeah, she did have a quick look to make sure the runner at 3 wasn't going anywhere.
Change up to Maslin, who goes first pitch, fouls it off. Well, we're in the top of the 6th. Sturt retire this batter. They've got batters 5 to 9 to look at to shut it out, playing with 3 runs. And they've got last chance to bat again should they come back. So Falcons really want this one. The Cathcart medalist, Maslin, we've seen her hit a long ball already this season. Capable of clearing the fence.
She's clearly capable. This is the one that they're going to have to sort of try and do it now. You've got the runners in scoring position. The opportunity's not going to present just like this generally 2 innings in a row in the situation
I hate to say it for Port Adelaide, but Sturt are up to 8-9, so Sturt will go back around to the top of the order in the next inning. for a ball, and Maslin, after swinging at the first pitch, got herself into a good hitting count. You've given her a green light here, Kylie?
Oh, absolutely, but I think Ruby's just going to pitch her carefully. There's an empty base at first base there. It might even be better. They've got, yeah, Walker.
We'll try it inside. Maslin gets out of the way to load the bases. So 2 out, loaded bases. A timeout being called by the Falcons, and Montana Edwards is the hitter going into the box. She was retired after a hard line drive shot to second base, her last time of bat. So she's seen it pretty well tonight. So they've got to be careful again here, Kylie.
Absolutely. It's probably, I think, the right thing to do there is now make a forced situation. So any bag is going to be an out, which they'll need. Just need to be very careful with this batter as well, I think.
Edwards, Callahan will be on deck should they get past this batter. Port need to score. That one's in there for a called strike. Edwards opting to see one. Change of pace, gets her chasing. So
good pitch.
Fidge gets ahead of the count. Now with loaded bases, Kylie, what's the choice here? That was a change of pace, so you wouldn't throw it twice in a row, would you?
No, I'll keep it low though. We want a ground ball.
Two change-ups in a row for the strikeout. And Fidge gets out of a jam. Lead-off walk. Golden with a single. Letton sacrifice bunt. Here's the CMAX replay of the strikeout. Great frame from Tonkin. Ground out from Marcelino. Maslin walks the bases loaded. And then on, was it 3 pitches? Strikeout looking for young Fidge. So Sturt in the box seat here, and we go into the bottom of the 6th inning. Boy, you'd be a brave person to bet against the Falcons now, wouldn't you?
Absolutely, given where they're coming back into their lineup. You know, I mean, not that there's a fault anywhere in their lineup, but when you put about to turn, as you said, at 8-9, then come back to the top of your lineup, they really need to make sure this is 3 up, 3 down, Port, and get back in that box, try and have another crack at getting these runs. They don't really want to get too many batters in the box here for Sturt, that's for sure.
Port Adelaide's 4 games so far this year. They've scored 4, 4, 5 and 5. So far this is their lowest tally of the year, but in one of those games they came from behind to win against Hills Heat 4-3. So they are capable of scoring, and it was just Neves that had the walk-off hit as well. So they have been hitting throughout the lineup. You mentioned at the top of the show, Pete, that it's been a very good team performance from them.
Yeah, they have been. Most of their batting has been fairly spread out. Well fielded there at first base by McKenna Smith. Gets up and takes the first out of the innings. As I said, they need the basically first 3 batters in the box to be out. We're about to come to our number 9 in Rachel Tonkin. But you're right, I said, having a look at their the stats through the year so far, it's been a fairly across-the-board performance from Port in the offensive side of things. So it isn't a fault anywhere in their lineup as well, but they're really going to need to dig deep into the lineup coming back towards the lower half of it in the next inning.
Kylie, we're seeing some of the players from the backfield walk by, so that one's obviously run and one. We'll try and get a score update.
I don't know if Kylie wants to score though.
No.
10-2. Hills Way.
10-2 Hills Way. Might have a look here. Regan Diaz went 2 for 2 on the night, and 3 hits in total for the Tigers. Munro and Diaz shared the pitching for Seacombe. Hills Heat, 2 hits for Rickson, 2 hits for Megan Williams, and a hit each to Luxon, LaRosa and Bastion. This one's off the end of the bat. Callahan has to charge it. Tonkin's pretty quick. A bounce throw goes to the plate. Tonkin wants the option for 2. Will stand up and runner in scoring position as we go round back to the top of the order. So there you go. Put the ball in play. just a little bit of pressure on the field.
There's a real little toe ball hit there. It just rolled up. Again, the runner beat the throw, but they'll get the extra base on a red for sure there, but I think she's beaten the throw herself anyway.
So infield single, advancing on an error.
Correct. There should be a scorer, James.
Can do it all.
Careful, mate. They'll slide you up the other end of the table if you keep going like that.
The fouls one off. Like she showed Bunn a little bit. They're just going back to the Hills Heat. Seeking Tigers 10-2 game. La Rosa had 3 RBIs. Rickson with a couple as well. Georgia King had a hit and an RBI too. Erin Adams McDonald a hit and an RBI. 2 walks. Handy little play.
Yes. New addition to the commentary team.
Oh, Kylie.
We kept it quiet.
We tried to keep it quiet earlier.
Well, you didn't tell me.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Brandon, can we edit that? No, he says it's live. We're done. Okay. She just walked past us smiling before. She poked her head over this way, and I just looked at her, and she kept walking along. So.
We should have grabbed her over, now that everyone knows.
Yeah.
See if we can see her.
Nah, she was walking at pace. I don't think she was making her way here just yet. The nerves have already kicked in, clearly.
Everyone wants to head home if they don't have to be here. It's very cold. Tonkin 1 ball, 2 strikes, runner on 2. There's still time for a 7th inning. Fouls this one off. Yeah, still another 10 minutes before no new innings. So it'll have to be a marathon inning from the Falcons. And by then, they'd be in run rule territory, because with White and Cameron and Moore coming up, they only need another, 3, 4 to end the night early. I say that, they've only scored 4 in the game.
That Bill Watt standing up on first base, shivering and shaking up there.
Yeah, where's your jacket?
Commitment. I think
We've
she
seen
knows.
it a little bit from the Falcons this year. Their players have been doing a little bit of coaching on first base. Oh, a shot from Tonkin. Rachel Tonkin holds up at first. Jess Golden fancied her chances and went for Sarah Tonkin. There's too many Tonkins. Sarah Tonkin taking the extra base. Let's have a look at the CMAX replay. She's held up right at the last minute, so it comes back. The throw from Maslin.
Still a good arm from Golden back out to second, though, wasn't it? It was a rocket on target.
Back-to-back hits. 3rd hit of the night for Sarah Tonkin. That's Abby Weir gets a nice shot. Rachel Tonkin scores. Sarah Tonkin knew it was going to land in fairly, so she took off. And she was right on the tail of Rachel Tonkin. Let's have a look at the leading teams, CMAX replay. Leading teams, of course, were terrific partners of Softball SA a couple years ago, but CMAX replay, of course, if you want to help advance tomorrow's healthcare and get paid for your time, log on to cmax.com.au.
It was interesting there on the replay. Sarah got halfway along the line. She knew it was going in, but then she looked up and saw Rachel was still standing near third base and thought, am I going to have to go back because my sister won't go here? And then luckily the sister got her pedals on and got going.
Now, Kylie, you pointed out that Belinda White was coaching up on first. She's had to run in, grab her stuff,
Get in the box.
and swings wildly at the first pitch. So, you know, obviously took her head out of the game there for a little moment to help coach the team on first. And I was just saying that, seen a little bit from the Falcons this year, that they've been rotating the players out of first base as a base coach. So needs to really dial in now, Belle White, to help her team advance the lead a little further. Ground ball, second bounce. Marcelino waits for the second one and then plays a lead runner. Sarah Tonkin scores from third, so make it a 3rd RBI for Belinda White tonight. She advances on a fielder's choice. CMAX replay.
A good hit again, just got down into it, did exactly what she needed to. Unfortunately, the runner in the middle there on the force got out at second, but she still scored the runner from home, which was her job in the box.
First pitch swinging from Cameron. As I look up after I hear contact, just catching up on the scorecard, we've got 2 out. We've got 1 runner on. That's Belinda White on first. 6 runs now scored by the Falcons. 2 in the 3rd, 2 in the 5th, and then 2 now in the 6th.
And Maddie Cameron, who's 3 for 3 with the bat tonight so far, so can hit a ball nicely, and definitely has shown that tonight with that nice big hit in the first, that bat out to the dental school signs out at centre left.
Goes opposite field this time. Neves takes a great diving catch. That'll finish the Falcons' 6th inning. They've scored 2. There's Neves with a big smile on her face.
That was a good
Cameron.
catch.
Yeah.
She's quite very happy with herself there.
That was a brilliant catch because it was really diving away. It's that sort of punch with the ball, so it's just faded off to her and it's dropped down low. She's got herself down and taken a great catch. A little ice cream for a little bit there.
At the end of the glove.
Not that you need any ice cream tonight, but a great catch we see here on this replay. Full stretch.
Oh,
and
great catch.
6-1 in favour of the Falcons after 6 complete innings. We're going to go to the 7th. If Port can't score 5 or more, Falcons won't need to bat again.
Interesting. I think one of the big differences here tonight has been Sturt's batting again, as we said, 11 hits to 2. You know, that's and the score might be 6-1, but they've also left 7 runners on base. So they've had them out there to score, and they haven't even got them all in, which is even probably more of a positive for Sturt looking forward to make sure they can bring them home in the future. Port, on the other hand, have had 4 left on base, which, you know, if those 4 got home, it would have been a 6-5, would have been a closer game again here. But still don't write Port off. As you said, you know, earlier in the year they came back against the Hills in that last innings to come over the top and win. And as I said earlier, their batting stats through the year show that they're batting through the lineup quite nicely. So if they can get a little bit of a run on here, I wouldn't put it past Port to put a bit of a challenge back late.
Engler struck out 5 of the first 9 batters, has had 1 strikeout since. So her early dominance has been overrun by Sturt's aggressiveness in the batter's box, going after it early in the count, swinging hard, making good contact, running hard on the bases as well, and applying a little bit of extra pressure on the defence. That's been the difference for me. As we're 3 outs away, we can start to look at CMAX player of the game as well. We mentioned Cameron, who 3 for 4 in the night. Belinda White's 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Sarah Tonkin 3 for 4 of the night as well. Ground ball to White. Callahan actually had a look to see, and Belinda White fired it across. Not the person you want to see with the ball.
No, if you're going to do a little miss hit that's just going to roll on the ground nicely, you don't want to be giving it to her, because with that arm we've seen tonight, she can be even further closer over to third, and you could have quite a quick runner and she can still get that ball over there quickly. My player of the night so far from Sturt's going to be Maddie Cameron. I think her with the bat's been quite a clinical performance. She's been really lucky. You know, that was a great catch there that could have been another double if it had got past there comfortably, and probably would have been another run scored. So yeah, a good catch to stop there, going 4 for 4 for the night.
Here's Liz Engler up to bat, grounded into a double her last turn. It was a great play from Rachel Tonkin. We've seen Engler with a little bit more success this season than her first year, but most of her hard shots have been going opposite field. So she gets good reach, able to cover that outside edge. Kylie, for CMAX player of the night, you might be interested to hear for Zali Adams, 5 innings of work. Gave up 1 hit through 5 strikeouts. Gave up 1 unearned run against top of the table Port Adelaide.
She did look very good and very much in control on the plate from what I could see. It helps when you've got a field like you have behind her, and especially if they're scoring runs like that. So that's a good performance. She did her job today.
Interesting you say, James, Liz, she pitched, was it 5 strikeouts in the first
9 batters?
9 batters. So they've gone through 1 time and seen her, 5 of them got struck out. If you look at her pitching performance tonight, she's pitched 97 pitches, 71 of them are strikes.
Yeah, that's very high.
So they're in and around it nicely. They've had that 1 chance to have a look at her, and then they've obviously got their eye in Sturt nicely, and when they're up and around the zone, they're making the most of it.
Yes.
shows her worth here. Liz Engler with one out, gets herself a base on balls. Surely they'll change her out. There's no need for her to be out there running. You've got a speedster in Zoe Thompson, Zoe Bennett-Dixon in the bench. Surprising to see she's left out there. Here's McKenna Smith. Struck out twice for her 2 plate appearances so far tonight. Saturday's games, Glenelg versus Seacombe. Live on Spacequake Sports, we'll see Hills Heat take on West Torrens at 3 p.m. And on the backfield, Walkerville and Port Adelaide play a doubleheader, a 2-game series. So we'll see that a couple times this season, where the teams will play a doubleheader and face off against one another in a like I said, a 2-game series. So interesting setup. I like it though. Some of these players have got international experience. We're used to these double headers. Strike called. Fidge just hitting their spots at the moment. For Port Adelaide, yeah, they've started the season strong, 4-0. They're trailing here and not likely to win. I'm going to say they're out of it just yet, as Ruby Fidge just puts an exclamation mark on it with another strikeout. And now Port Adelaide just 1 out away. Walkerville winless though on the season. They've just got the 1 draw so far, scored 4 runs in 4 games. So they'll be hoping that Port Adelaide will need 2 pitches over the course of the day with a double header, Kylie.
And that's the advantage of a team like Sturt having, pitching by committee, as you said before. You've got 3. You can do whatever rotation you like over those 2 games.
And that's where it's going to be the testing for those teams, the depth, I guess, of your pitching and your catching and pitching duos, to know how they're working together. Your batting, I'd imagine, that's just another game. You go out there and you do your job. But the pitching is, they're going to be pitching a lot more balls. They're going to be pitching more innings. They're going to have to come on at times that they're probably not used to. So it's really going to test the team's battery performance.
James, I remember the good old days of National Fast Pitch. We would play a double header for club, then play 2 Saturday night, and then another 2 Sunday.
Was that the Raiders and
the Raiders and Invaders, yes.
The Vikings and the... Gee, testing me now.
I can't think of the other's name.
That's all right.
But we used to do that, but it's very interesting to see how...
strikeout, swinging. Neves goes down for Ruby Fidge's 3rd strikeout, victim of the game, and we're expecting a big tussle between these 2 teams. And well, after the first 3 innings, it was a 2-1 game. After the first 4 innings, a 2-1 game, until Sturt started to break away late in the game and just controlled it from there. A 6-1 final score really shows that Sturt dominated this game, and we spoke about it just prior, like their aggressiveness in the batter's box after the first time round. Here's a bit of a wrap. That's Golden there. She will score on this one. Port Adelaide's only run of the game.
Yeah, that was the only run from the throws that she just basically got chased around the diamond by the ball, which was enough for them there. We see here a lovely hit that went back, though. Zali, when she was in the circle, managed to field that one nicely. This here was Belle White's throw. Just tailed off with the wind nicely, but she managed to get the throw across, and Riley did a good job to hold it. Yeah, this one here at bat. Oh, sorry, I missed who that batter was, but this was the run scoring home. Olivia Durham's speed coming home when Belle White punched the ball out to right. Then we had Belle White coming home herself, chased by Maddie Cameron behind her.
Charlie Adams, gets under this one for a good catch from the pitcher.
Yes, Mel McGee's just messaged me, telling me the other team was the Harlequins.
Harlequins,
yes.
Of course.
Thanks,
Vikings
Mel.
and the Harlequins.
That was the bit of the drill that we see, the fine infield play by Sturt. They're just drilled well nicely for the double play. This was Tonkin scooting home, getting around and under the tag. The ball that just tailed slightly up third base line. This was a lovely hit out, but just flicked over the glove of the right fielder there.
Yeah, Ruby Fidge came in, made an impact straight away with the bat, and then came in And a little bit of a scare, but left the bases loaded for Port Adelaide, denying them before she had a few good strikeouts. Here's the last batting innings for Sturt. It was pretty good defensively. There was a couple of mistakes snuck in there. It's early days of the season, but well, that'll just about do it from West Beach tonight. It was Sturt Falcons over the Port Adelaide Magpies, winning 6 runs to 1. We'll see you Saturday.